unity, peace and unity. Democracy shall take our lead for prosperity, peace and unity. Democracy shall take our lead. We must, we must, we must embrace democracy and the rule of law. We must embrace democracy and the rule of law. Wanakenya wote tudumishe amani Kenya. Neno lake Mungu latuhimiza kupendana. Wanakenya wote tudumishe amani Kenya. Neno lake Mungu latuhimiza kupendana. Wakenya tutoe shukrani kwa Mungu. Kwa nchi yetu Kenya, nchi ya urithi wetu. Ndugu zetu wa Kenya tutoe shukrani kwa Mungu. Kwa nchi yetu Kenya, nchi ya urithi wetu. Wanakenya wote tudumishe amani Kenya. Neno lake Mungu latuhimiza kupendana. Wanakenya wote tudumishe amani Kenya. Neno lake Mungu latuhimiza kupendana. Tushikane mikono pamoja sote wa Mungu. Tujenge Kenya moja, nchi ya urithi wetu. Tushikane mikono pamoja sote wa Mungu. Tujenge Kenya moja, nchi ya urithi wetu. Wanakenya wote tudumishe amani Kenya. Neno lake Mungu latuhimiza kupendana. Wanakenya wote tudumishe amani Kenya. Neno lake Mungu latuhimiza kupendana. Bara kusini na magharibi, tukaishi kwa amani aliyotuachia Mungu. Kwani bara kusini na magharibi, tuishi kwa amani aliyotuachia Mungu. Wanakenya wote tudumishe amani Kenya. Neno lake Mungu latuhimiza kupendana. Wanakenya wote tudumishe amani Kenya. Neno lake Mungu latuhimiza kupendana. 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 Nchini Kenya kazi za kina mama zapendeza, hebu kina mama, juhudi zenu za amani kwa wote. Pongezi, hebu kina mama, nchini Kenya kazi za kina mama zapendeza, hebu kina mama, juhudi zenu za amani kwa wote. Kwa sababu ya udhabiti tulio nao hapa kwetu, twafurahia nchi ya Kenya. Kwa kweli Kenya nchi yangu, kwa sababu ya udhabiti tulio nao hapa kwetu, na utulivu tulio nao unatokana na baraka kutoka kwake Mungu Mwenyezi anayependa Kenya yetu, na utulivu tulio nao unatokana na baraka kutoka kwake Mungu Mwenyezi anayependa Kenya yetu. Kwa moyo moja watu wa Kenya tujenge Kenya nchi yetu, tusidanganywe na wachochezi wa wale wenye nia mbaya. Kwa moyo moja watu wa Kenya tujenge Kenya nchi yetu, tusidanganywe na uchochezi wa wale wenye nia mbaya. Wajua kwamba ulinzi wetu watoka kwake Mola Mungu, na muombe Mungu Mwenyezi azidi kuilinda Kenya. Wajua kwamba ulinzi wetu watoka kwake Mola Mungu, na tumuombe Mungu Mwenyezi azidi kuilinda Kenya. Wajua kwamba ulinzi wetu watoka kwake Mola Mungu, na tumuombe Mungu Mwenyezi, na tumuombe Mungu Mwenyezi azidi kuilinda Kenya. Wajua kwamba ulinzi wetu watoka kwake Mola Mungu, na tumuombe Mungu Mwenyezi, na tumuombe Mungu Mwenyezi azidi kuilinda Kenya. Mungu ibariki nchi yetu pamoja na watu wetu. Mungu wabariki watu wako, amani idumu Kenya. Mungu tulipo Kenya. Mungu wabariki watu wako, ushushe baraka zako. Mungu wabariki nchi yetu, amani idumu Kenya. Moja uzidi Kenya. Mungu wabariki watu wako, upendo uongezeke. Mungu wabariki nchi yetu, amani idumu Kenya. Mungu ibariki nchi yetu, pamoja na watu wetu. Mungu wabariki watu wako, amani idumu Kenya. Mungu ibariki nchi yetu, pamoja na watu wetu. Mungu wabariki watu wako, amani idumu Kenya. Mungu ibariki nchi yetu, pamoja na watu wetu. Mungu wabariki watu wako, amani idumu Kenya.
Indeed, pictures coming to you there live from the Bomas of Kenya. The IEBC had indicated that they would be issuing or declaring the presidential election results at 3 p.m. We see that the ceremony is ongoing there. Choirs singing patriotic songs. We see many stakeholders are already seated. Leaders from various political parties are on location there at the Bomas of Kenya. And we also saw that the UDA presidential candidate, William Samoei Ruto, is already at the Bomas of Kenya. Of course, remembering that all the presidential contenders were invited for the announcement that will be made any moment from now, arriving there with their families. And at this moment, Raila Odinga, who is the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya presidential candidate, has yet to make it to the Bomas of Kenya. So that hasn't happened yet. So we are still waiting to see what that, if he's coming, what that means, and what will happen going forth. And of course, it's important to remember that all this that we are seeing, this entire procedure is stipulated in law, how the returning officer of the presidential election, that is the IEBC chairman, Wafula Chebukati, is to declare the winner this afternoon. Of course, we've seen for the last 6 days what has been happening, the verification of forms 34B that have been coming physically from the 290 constituencies around the country. The verification of these forms together with the agents of the various presidential candidates. There were 4 of them. We saw earlier on Sunday, Mwaure Waihiga of the Agano party already having conceded defeat, and at that same point also threw his weight behind the UDA presidential candidate William Ruto, and Professor Wajakoya is also in the building. So let's connect now with Ken Mijungu, who is at the heart of all this action, to tell us exactly what is happening at this point. Good afternoon, Ken. What can you tell us?
Good afternoon to you. Of course, the news is coming in that it's been pushed by another 1 hour. It's supposed to happen at 3 p.m. Now the anticipators are coming at around 4. We've already seen 3 of the presidential candidates coming. Now we're waiting for Raila Odinga, also a leading presidential candidate. More is just sitting behind me here. I have also seen Professor Jakoya. William Ruto is not yet at the auditorium, but we've seen him arrive because we're inside. We've seen the pictures also from outside. And of course, nothing has changed here. The mood is still tense. Everyone perhaps is whispering, and there's a lot of also half information flying around. So everyone is just getting started on how this will turn out. And those people are thinking one of the those people are saying Deputy President as well. And those people say, well, I think so the bigger picture is 4 p.m. That's when we expect the action here to begin. We haven't seen the commissioners. However, I have to say that around 2:30, there was an announcement at the auditorium, the floor of the auditorium, that the chief agent for the 4 presidential candidates was supposed to move up to where the commissioners are going to say. So we suspect that they were meant to sign the final form that they'll be using in the declaration of this result. So that's where we are. No one has spoken about it, and no one knows what's happening. But I'll tell you from where I sit, all the teams from all the political parties and all the presidential campaigns are already seated. They're just waiting for that grand announcement. There was earlier on a little bit of celebration next to Bomas, but that has been pushed a little bit further away. If you're familiar with the current ground that is been pushed to Galleria near the mall, where there's a roundabout. So they've been taken a little further. Security has been serious security here. And of course, national and international journalists, everyone waiting. Everyone, I must say, is anxious and debating, especially for the different campaigns, who will they wait this race. So that's what we're doing here now. Just listen. Occasionally we get entertainment, but even then they can't sing more than they have done, Sharon. We've had choirs sing, they've got choirs. We get sometimes the DJs playing music, patriotic songs, I must say, songs that encourage concert songs. That's what we hear here. But then sometimes it goes very quiet, you know. So it's interesting what's happening here, but there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of anticipation. As I said earlier, the Secretary has delivered this baby, and everyone is hoping this will be an legitimate baby. So that's the bigger picture here, Sharon. unless you have a question for me.
Right, that's clear, Ken. Of course, we can only wait, right? We can only wait at this point. 4 p.m. is the revised time by the IEBC, saying that it is at 4 p.m. that now this announcement will be made. That's just about 22 minutes from now. And of course, if in case of any happenings, Ken will be letting us know what is happening there. But important to know that this is the last lap of this electoral, particularly the presidential election at this particular point before the announcement of the winner. And what has been happening is that after the collation and the verification of the forms 34B, that then the presidential election returning officer, Wafula Chebukati, would then prepare form 34C, which is the collation of all forms 34B from the constituencies, that is the 290 of them, including one extra one, that is the diaspora vote. And after collating all the numbers from the forms 34B and collecting them in the form 34C, there's only one form 34C, then this is given to the agents of the presidential candidates for verification and signing, just making sure that all the agents are on the same page, are in agreement with what has been written on that document. And once that has happened, that the preparation and the signing and verification and signing of Form 34C by Wafula Chebukati, then he would prepare Form 34D, which is the certificate of declaration of the president-elect. And we are hoping at this point, believing actually that this is already done, because now all eyes are trained on the announcement of the presidential election results. And of course, there are various scenarios, as we have been hearing from our panel and earlier on, that there could be a clear win, a first round win, if the two, particularly at this point, we are looking at the top two presidential contenders, that is UDA's William Ruto and Azimio la Umoja, One Kenya's candidate, Raila Odinga, that a clear win would mean that either of these candidates, whoever has one, would have to have garnered 50% and an extra one, just so that, that is proper and sealed. So 50% plus one, and also garnering 25% of half of the Kenyan counties, for each of half of Kenyan counties. And for these two, they already attained that county vote, that is 25% of 24 counties. And important to note, if then we have a clear winner, if there is a president-elect and there's no instance that occasions a runoff, and if there is a runoff, first of all, then this has to happen 30 days from today. Constitutionally, a runoff would have to be conducted, a re-election would have to happen 30 days from the declaration of presidential results that is stipulated in the Kenyan Constitution of 2010. But if there is a clear winner, then what happens next is the process of transfer of power and assumption of office. And this process is also, stipulated in the Constitution. There is a committee under the Assumption of Office of the President Act that is mandated with overseeing that transition process, and their job is not limited to overseeing the transitional issues, and of course they're also mandated with planning and organizing the swearing in ceremony if there is a president-elect, and if this is not contested by way of a petition. So if there is a president-elect and there is no petition, then the plans of swearing in the president as has been elected would kick into place, and this particular mandate is on the committee of the assumption of the office of the president. And their duty includes also arranging security for the president-elect and his deputy as well. And they are also expected to brief the president on matters of the office, what they're supposed to know from the office. So what this means is that they would organize that the president-elect gets briefing from state officials as is required, that they get to understand what is in their entry, and of course also preparing for the inauguration. And constitutionally, this inauguration day would be a public holiday. I'll be telling you more about then what happens after today. So stay with me. But at this moment, I want us to cross over to Kibra constituency. My colleague Sophia Wanuna is on standby there to tell us what is happening, even as Kenyans and of course residents of Kibra anticipate the announcement of the presidential election results. Sophia, what can you tell us from where you are?
Hey Sharon, good to see you again. So the anticipation and expectation high here in Kibra constituency. I'm inside the KTC, that's Kibra Town Center. And as you can see, dozens have gathered in this room waiting for that coverage, for that announcement by Wafula Chebukati. It was to happen at 3 p.m. It has been pushed to 4 p.m. But as you can see, folks here quietly waiting, filled up to the stairs and watching the coverage of this as the entire country is focusing on Bomas of Kenya, awaiting that decision, that announcement. We have seen the arrival of the Deputy President at the Bomas of Kenya. We have been training our cameras as well at the home of the former Prime Minister. He's yet to leave, but here in Kibra, they're keeping hope alive, and the eyes are on KTN News. It's the screen and channel of choice. Their KTN News channel election today as they follow the proceedings here. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, some context that for Raila Odinga, this is in fact his fifth stop at the presidency. And for the people here, they're saying they have provided a leader who has served as Prime Minister in the past, has held several ministerial positions. He was Member of Parliament for this region. Remember, before Kibra constituency came into being in 2013, it was under Langata constituency that he represented since 1993 to 2013. Now, one of the things when we're talking some of the individual of security deployment, anticipating fracas or chaos. However, this time around, we have gone round the constituency, and so far zero presence of police, of security here. However, it's a party outside. I want to show you. Just come with me. Asanteni sana kwa kuitikia tuongee hapa. So just come with me. We'll step out and you'll be able to see that outside this venue where everybody's standing by and watching. Sorry, sir. Outside how it's looking. Again, folks are saying get on with it and announce the results. So this is Kamukunji when you get out of that center. And these are the scenes here. A few people still outside as well, watching and monitoring. But down there you can see dozens, almost 100 plus people that are gathered here. Earlier on when we spoke to them, they were saying they are waiting for that result. They've been marching to the Bomas of Kenya, although that is a no-go zone, the National Tallying Center, but they were saying they are waiting for that result to be called in their favor. And many of them saying they expect nothing less than that to be the case. However, their moods have not been dampened by the fact that the former Prime Minister is yet to arrive at the Bomas of Kenya, where that results, the presidential election result, is set to be announced. They are saying their expectation is that they will be successful. However, several others still going on with their business. You'll see men are there being sold. There's a lady here with some njugu, but majority of the youth are standing by. Even on the main road, Kasarani, most of the business they are shut down, but they say a whole country, and in fact many parts of the world, training their eyes on how this election is unfolding and the results. But important to note, because we've seen that in the past, even in other elections, you'd find heavy security deployment ahead of these kind of scenarios or situations, just in case. It could go either way, we don't know. It has been a neck and neck contest, a very tight race. And so, however, we've gone round and it's all peaceful, it's all good. So we'll keep vigil, we'll keep and stay put here and bring you updates updates from what residents here say is Raila Odinga's bedroom, that they've supported him over the years to the man in as far as the ballots and vote is concerned. And this fifth time round, they will be hoping he can be successful. And for his competitor, William Ruto, remember, he has won every election he has vied in and participated in. This is his first time running for president. So the stakes are high. They've also been witnessing the images and coming from different parts of the country, whether it's Kisumu or Eldoret, every side still holds up until now that they are winning. But the beauty is that at some point, once Wafula Chebukati takes to the podium, a decision will be rendered. And the call across board is that that decision is accepted. And of course, if there's a contestation, then due process, which is clearly articulated in our laws, a presidential election petition then becomes a route in which those who are aggrieved by the result pursue, as opposed to any other forms of violence. But for now, all good here, excitement. Oh, and remember, maybe I could show you the railway. I don't know if it's too much of a walk. When we saw those scenes that was uprooted in the last election, and they were saying they hope never to have those scenes repeat. And we are right here next to that. Our picture may be a little bit shaky, but bear with us. This is live television. And so this is it, from this end all the way up to the other. And when those chaotic scenes then were witnessed, this is what we saw. However, today they are saying they are peaceful, they are hopeful, and that is a great place to begin, Sharon.
Thank you very much, Sophia. Of course, very important to hear what the residents are saying there, that they are committed to peace. Of course, we've seen Kibra, among other areas that tend to be political strongholds for top contenders in the presidential polls, always getting, into that cycle of what happens after election results are announced. And of course, we've seen this in Kibra, we've seen it in Kisumu, we've seen it in Rift Valley, where our reporters are with the citizens, of course, excited and hoping that their preferred candidate gets to clinch the winner of that presidential election, but also committed to not engage in any sort of violence. Also, of course, important to remember is that the international election observers have really given this poll a thumbs up in terms of how it has been conducted, and of course, also in terms of how peaceful it has been, with only isolated cases of violence and malpractices reported. Let's go back to Bomas now. David Mudhoka is on standby to tell us more from a different corner of the Bomas of Kenya, to tell us exactly what is happening right there. And very good afternoon to you, David. Where exactly are you at the Bomas, and what is happening?
Well, good afternoon, Sharon, and I'm right outside the pavilion at the Bomas of Kenya, where presidential candidate number 3 to arrive at the Bomas of Kenya, and that is Deputy President William Ruto of the UDA party, walked into just a few minutes ago, and he was accompanied by his entire Kenya Kwanza entourage, just to mention but a few, the leaders who have accompanied him right here at the Bomas of Kenya ahead of that declaration of a winner. And a number of them include Nairobi Governor-elect, that is Johnson Sakaja. We have also seen Kapseret MP-elect Oscar Sudi. We have also spotted former Machakos gubernatorial candidate Johnston Modhama. We also saw Elgeyo Marakwet Senator-elect Kipchumba Murkomen, and a host of other leaders that are affiliated to the Kenya Kwanza coalition. We've also spotted Senator-elect Bungoma, Moses Wetangula, and other Kenya Kwanza principals, including former Machakos Governor Alfred Mutua, who have accompanied DP William Ruto right here at the Bomas of Kenya. And not just the leaders alone have accompanied the DP. We have also spotted members of his family, actually close relatives, including his children, Charlene Ruto, Nick Ruto, including his mother as well, who are actually here. But the children have already left and have been directed to enter the auditorium that is just a stone throw distance from here, and where actually the entire action is taking place, and where actually we are set to see IEBC chairman Wafula Chebukati, who is the returning officer for the presidential election, declare a winner in the race to succeed President Uhuru Kenyatta. And just to paint to you the picture as it is right here at the pavilion, as you can see, There are security officers who have manned this pavilion where DP William Ruto and the leaders and his family members entered minutes ago. And as you can see, a number are already donned in security uniform, just here ensuring that there is security, and as well there are members or part of his protocol that are here. We tried to access the pavilion, maybe just to see closely and firsthand the reactions and the interactions right inside the pavilion, but of course we've been told to hold our horses right out here. But of course the deputy president is here. Of course he arrived with such pomp and color, with the very we have seen in his campaigns, alongside his vehicle, his official vehicle that he goes on for official purposes and official duties, was the beast, the yellow green painted yellow beast that he has been hitting the campaign trail with. And so definitely that has been the pomp that has accompanied the DP William Ruto's arrival right here at the Bomas of Kenya. And so as you can see, we were expecting to see the IEBC chairman Wafula Chebukati make the announcement at around 3 p.m. But of course, understandably, that particular declaration is set to be made from 4 p.m., which is just minutes away from now. And so definitely in no time, the DP will be expected to leave the pavilion when he is asked to leave here to head into the auditorium where the IEBC is not only expected to declare winner, but also declare and announce results from the remaining 28 constituencies that have so far not seen their results announced. But there is some activity here. We are seeing a number of vehicles actually accessing this particular pavilion. Of course, we'll be trying to find out what exactly is happening right here. And of course, definitely just to show our viewers what is actually taking place. Definitely, this is where the DP is holed up, accompanied by, we've also seen his wife, Rachel Ruto, who arrived right here alongside him, and definitely with beaming faces, smiles on their faces, and maybe hoping that the outcome of this presidential election will be into their favor. But of course, that is an answer that lies with IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati, who has for some hours, we haven't even seen him away apart from the various IEBC commissioners who have been around here. We were able to spot Commissioner Justus Nyang'aya. We were also able to spot Commissioner Irene Masit, but Chebukati has not been around, and definitely a Solomonic moment awaits him, even as a bittersweet moment on the other side awaits the presidential candidates who are here and are waiting to know their fate in the presidential election. Definitely, just earlier on, we were able to see the two other presidential candidates who arrived here before the DP, and that includes Agano Party leader David Mora Wahiga, who just yesterday conceded defeat, and we were also able to spot that is Roots Party leader George Wajakoya, who arrived here, and they even went on to display a show of unity, shaking hands and lifting each other's hands in the full glare of the cameras, just definitely showing that they respect the pending outcome of this presidential election. And so we have our eyes here, we have our eyeballs trained here, and the camera lenses trained at this particular pavilion, where we do anticipate DP William Ruto to make his way out, head to the auditorium, signaling the start of the event in which IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati is set to announce the presidential election results.
Right. Thank you very much, David Mudoka, just painting to us the pictures and the feelings at the Bomas of Kenya as the entire country and indeed beyond awaits this very much anticipated announcement of the presidential election results. He has told us the people who are at the Bomas of Kenya at this point, of course, waiting for the arrival of the Azimio La Umoja One Kenya candidate, Raila Odinga, unless he communicates otherwise. But any moment from now, 4 p.m. is just 3 Bomas of Kenya Day, and the leadership that comes out to be made. And then we know what is the way forward. And legally, constitutionally, what is the way forward? The way forward constitutionally is if we have a president-elect, clear winner of the presidential election, meaning they've attained the 50% plus one vote, including the 25% vote in 24 counties. That makes up for over half of the counties in the country. Then that is a clear win. And of course, if this is contested, any candidate or citizen of this country can petition the results. And this must happen within 7 days after the declaration of the presidential election results. And if it is not contested, if there is no petition against what will be declared today, assuming that what is declared today is a clear win and not one that calls us to go for a re-election in the presidential poll, then what sets into space is that transitional process of handing over power to the next president. And there is a committee that is tasked with this role in the Constitution. That is the Assumption of the Office of the President Committee. And we saw that they already addressed the country last week with the head of public service, Joseph Kinyua, saying just on the day of election, actually, if I'm not wrong, that they are on standby to kickstart the transition process once the election results is declared by the IEBC chairman, Wafula Chebukati. And what will be their role then if we have a clear president elected this afternoon? Other than overseeing transitional issues and planning the swearing-in ceremony. And first of all, important to note that if we have a president-elect, then the inauguration date is deemed to be on the 14th day after the day of the declaration of the results, and it has to be on a Tuesday. So the Tuesday, 2 weeks after the declaration of the results. And of course, there's also a constitutional procedure of that, how this would be conducted. It would be a public holiday overseen by the Chief of Justice, and there are certain instruments of power that then would have to be transferred during this ceremony. And also there is a very particular time within which this has to happen, being 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. The time is set strictly between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. for the inauguration ceremony. So a lot that is really clearly stipulated in the Elections Act in terms of handover of power and, having a new president take office, how that would happen. So we'll be looking at that. Of course, at this point, we can't say what scenario will come into play. There's various prescribed ways in which, the country would have to take depending on what the man of the hour, Wafula Chebukati, announces in any minute from now.
Naishi na tumaini najitolea daima Kenya, hakika ya bendera ni uthabiti wangu, nyeusi ya wananchi na nyekundu ni ya damu, kijani ni ya ardhi, nyeupe ya amani. Daima mimi Mkenya, mwananchi mzalendo. Kwa uchungu na mateso, kwa vilio na huzuni, tulinyakuliwa uhuru na mashujaa wa zamani. Hawakushtushwa na risasi au kufungwa gerezani. Nia yao ukombozi, kuvunja pingu za ukoloni. Naishi na tumaini, najitolea daima Kenya, hakika ya bendera ni uthabiti wangu, nyeusi ya wananchi na nyekundu ni ya damu, kijani Daima mimi Mkenya, mwananchi mzalendo. Oh, oh, oh. Only got one mama, you only got one papa, you only got one life to live, no matter who you are. You can go the whole world over, every city has its glow, but everybody has one place where he was born. And mine is Kenya, so warm and wild and free. You'll always stay with me here in my heart. My land is Kenya, right from your highlands to the sea. You'll always stay with me here in my heart. Here in my heart. You only got one child, and the memory that springs when you see your house, the tree you climb, and all those precious things. The faces of the friends I had, the images they form. When I close my eyes in the land I love, the land where I was born. My land is Kenya, so warm and wild and free. You'll always stay with me here in my heart. My land is Kenya, right from your highlands to the sea. You'll always stay with me here in my ni fahari yetu, undugu ndio nguvu, chuki na ukabila hatutaki hata kamwe, lazima tuungane, tuijenge nchi yetu, pasiwe hata mmoja anayetenganisha. Naishi natumaini, najitolea daima Kenya, hatima ya bendera ni uthabiti wangu, nyeusi ya wananchi na nyekundu ni ya damu, kijani ni ya ardhi, nyeupe ya amani. Daima mimi Mkenya, mwananchi mzalendo.
Right, how incredible it is to listen to those patriotic songs at this point. Daima Mimi Mkenya, just amazing. And right now I want to cross you over to our city studios. Fred Indibuli is on standby to continue with our broadcast.
Thank you, Sharon. And now more than 70 plus minutes after the initial announcement that was to be made at 3 p.m. Later postponed to 4 p.m. Now 11-12 minutes past that hour, we're still waiting for that big announcement. All Kenyans are eagerly waiting for that announcement to be made by the IEBC chairperson, Wafula Chebukati, declaring the results of the presidential election of August the 9th. Everything appears set. The Deputy President, William Ruto, is already at the Bomas of Kenya. We are still going to establish the whereabouts of Azimio La Umoja, One Kenya presidential flag bearer, Raila Odinga. A lot of activity happening at the Bomas of Kenya. I'm still in studio with my panel, Business Mukua, Kevin Osido, Hesden Awila, and Rafael Obonyo. And the anxiety is palpable. You can actually feel everywhere, watching on screen. The streets are clear. We're just waiting for that announcement. And surely this is not how elections should be. We should have a clear winner, Rafael. Yeah. So that people are still celebrating, both sides are celebrating. Yeah. That means even now, even past the hour when the announcement was to be made initially, we still are not sure where it is going. Which makes it quite tragic in the sense that it's about arithmetic. By now, we should have known what are the numbers and what are the numbers telling us in terms of who has won and who has lost. But remember also, this is a political process. And so, political players need to be convinced or persuaded that the process was actually very fair and credible. And the process is not just voting. I think the issue of tallying is something they're trying to see. They're trying to agree. If you can't meet the threshold that